What is up, guys? Welcome back to another brand new video. This is a brand new podcast episode. I'm here joined with Michael. He was previously in
What's up?
another. He was previously in another podcast, and I'm glad to see him. And a brand new guest star, Jesus. You want to say hi?
Hi.
This
Sorry,
is
I'm nervous.
this has been like a long-awaited episode. We've been trying to record this for a while, but to get completely just settled, just I always say this, and I say this off recording, and I'm gonna say it again. But if you guys end up saying something that you don't want to say, just let me know after or during the recording, and I'll edit it out. Don't you worry about it. Um, yeah, because that's just basically how we do it. We're gonna be completely honest and laid back about it. But we got some cool topics actually to jump and tackle. But just we're let's try not to like blow through them all the time, like the whole freaking list. Just casually talk. You get me?
Yeah, of
Gotcha.
course.
So the first one on the list is aliens. Do you guys believe in aliens?
I
Uh,
do, and I have a
yeah,
reason.
kind of.
Really?
Yeah, well, like in my opinion, the reason why I think they may be out there is because like I'm not saying like they're not gonna visit us because TikTok is, but um, but the reason I believe in them is because since the universe is such a very big space, there has to be a high probability chance that something else is out there, or like that's what I believe in. I'm hopefully something cool, like I don't know, give like a Superman, no,
You know,
but
that's another thing I thought about too. Like I thought about movies. You guys know like Star Wars, right? I
Yeah.
always
yeah,
thought that it would be super freaking cool if we just had more aliens or like another civilization to like get to learn. Because to think about it, we think about like culture, like would expand so much, language would expand so much, foods, different times. Like I haven't ate Filipino food. You get me? So like just to add on that much more is just I think that was pretty cool. But to me, I don't think they exist. And I like how you said it, like oh the universe is so big. It would be kind of crazy to believe that the university that there are aliens out there in the universe. It is also crazy to believe that that we're the only ones. You get me?
yeah. No,
I
I
get you.
get you. But one of the things I always thought about is that if there is someone out there and they do decide to, or like miraculously find out our planet and they kind of see what we're doing, like I just want to know their humble opinion about like what we're doing. Oh look, and, like they have a cool app called TikTok. I'm gonna join it.
You think they'll be very sociable?
I don't think so. I like not. I think they actually be pretty racist. They're like, oh, like, they ain't our kind or something,
Yeah,
I
Because
think, well, this is where I'm going to interject here. I feel as though, like, yes, I'm religious, but at the same time, I believe that aliens do exist, and they probably are speciesist, not racist. And the reason why I would say that is because they've already visited us, and why they're probably looking at us right now saying we're wasting our time if we decide to go ahead and socialize with these people that can't even socialize with themselves without having a war with each other. I think it's best if we go ahead and let them kill each other off, and then we'll go ahead and reap the resources that are here on Earth.
yeah, I
Or
get you.
perhaps they're already here among us and further, like, trying to
Among
rush up
Us,
that process.
the
I
Among
agree
Us.
there.
Honestly,
Like,
oh, go on, go on.
oh, like I was just gonna say, like I agree with what Mike said. They already seen what we do. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on politically wise, and and socially wise, like within our within our planet, and that's a great point that you actually said, Mike, that they would be kind of like a species, not racist, but species, because we're not the same. And but like my one question is that wouldn't they want to I asked myself, like, wouldn't they want to at least try to, like, you know give us a hint that they were here? They just don't want to, like talk to us or something. I've always thought about it that way, and
Okay.
that's where experiencing, like, those animalistic aliens, and that I would be very scared of, like the movie Alien, right?
Mm.
And like, I would be very terrified if something like that, like, doesn't want to talk to me, because then I'd be feel very ashamed.
No, of course, and I mean, I totally, and I get your question there, but like at the same time, like half the aliens are probably animalistic, or in the sense like they are otherworldly, but maybe half the aliens out there are very similar to us and very human looking. Like for an example, Kryptonians, like Superman and stuff like that. If you've seen that show Invincible, have you ever heard of Omni Man by any chance?
Yeah, dude, I love that show.
Dude, and I'm gonna tell you this, like this is what I think. Superman wouldn't be nice about anything here on Earth. You want to know what we would get for a Superman? It would be Omni Man, bro. Omni Man would be the one to come down here. And at first he would say, I'm here to go ahead and deliver peace. But then, like at the end, he's probably going to turn around and say, "You know what? I don't care about your guys' planet, and look how pathetic you all like maintain it. You all can't even take care of your freaking planet. Let me go ahead and teach you how to take care of it by only letting the strong survive and the weak and the dumb shall perish."
Now that you said
Dude,
that, and you also, Jesus, you also mentioned Alien, but like Alien versus Predator, right? And you know the scene that they fight, whatever, and then like the Predator gets the head of the alien because that he just wants it for the collection. That's his sole purpose, just to hunt. Um, you could see it real quick on like a little snippet on his spaceship that there's a human head there, and there's a bunch of different alien heads, and there's a human head in there, and like it's kind of tie in with what Michael said that they already visited us, but also what type of aliens are we really talking about? I mean, we've depicted aliens from Little Green Alien Blue Man to Martian Manhunter to freaking Superman, and then the freaking alien like from Alien vs Predator. I would hate those like hardcore, and I would also really like the Star Wars one, but it's like it's very different. And just like how you said, species, it will also be interesting because we as humans kind of put the most closest thing to us into cages. We put monkeys in there, and maybe they are not finding a mutiny. Maybe they don't know how to socialize in a certain way to like overrun us. But there is some characteristics. I mean, not to bring back sad news about Harambe, but he was helping the child. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
yeah,
course,
like,
and that's that. Oh, go ahead, Jesus. I'm sorry.
oh no, I just said yeah.
No, what I was going to go ahead and say is that that's probably the reason why the aliens only visit us like from time to time, like let's say for an example UFO sightings and stuff like that. And what type of alien are we talking about here? I'm talking about all aliens in general. It doesn't have to necessarily be something like, oh, from Alien versus Predator, or perhaps like a Kryptonian or something like that. No, this is all aliens in general. And I believe the reason why, like I said, I will repeat my point again, the reason why they don't come down here is because of the way they see us treat things. And perhaps they look at, for an example, they look at the Harambe situation, and then they see how half of us react and then the other half don't. And they're probably saying, okay, this creature was probably trying to help this kid. Why would they go ahead and kill this poor innocent creature? What are they going to do to us, or what should we do to them? And perhaps they overpower us by millions of times, and they probably have weapons tech far beyond our potential, and we've got billions of years to go ahead and catch up to that. And we are so lucky that they don't decide to go ahead and come down on us and try to invade us, because they could easily do that and reap the resources.
I hear that a
Yeah, I
lot.
agree
I
though.
I hear that a lot about like where they're so advanced. I kind of spinned it on the other end and made a sad idea. But what if we're the most advanced? How pathetic would that be, right? Like, it's up to us to adventure out and discover a lower life form. But also, another thing I would want to think about is I feel like how Jesus was mentioning that, like, oh no, no, Michael was mentioning that we are fighting at war, and they have no, there's no space for them to just chill with us or whatever the hell. But wouldn't that be like the perfect bad guy? That's what we all need, like, because in United States or, for example, another country, we're just fighting each other all the time. But wouldn't a alien invasion be the reason? Oh, okay, let's world peace now. Now let's fight them. Like, let's focus the cannons on their side.
Okay,
Um,
so now you're talking along the lines of perhaps sort of a Halo Reach or a Halo type of story now, or
is
a
that
Halo
how
type
they
of
do it?
alien.
I'm not. I didn't grow
Yeah,
up with that.
yeah, because in Halo, basically okay, so the Covenant decides to go ahead and invade the Earth, and not only that, but multiple planets that are human-like. Like, let's say, for an example, Reach. And in Reach, they plan to go ahead and glass this planet with the Halo rings. At least that's what I believe in the lore. That's how much I'm educated within the story. Like, I'm not too educated, but I know a few things, right?
Hmm.
If you want to talk to somebody about the Halo like franchise, Rye would be your guy, or
For
somebody else. But honestly, I'm going to tell you this much. When it comes to the story itself, you see that all the aliens are grouped amongst each other to go ahead and invade us, to go ahead and try to just eliminate us as a race, the human race, and whatever is similar to us. And we have to come together as human beings to go ahead and go against this race. Now, would it be awesome if we could go ahead and do that and have the ultimate bad guy? Yes, but what wouldn't be awesome is if our planet got glass, because that's the inevitability here, that they would have weapons tech. And you say that we're the most advanced. We're probably like in 10th place compared to all these other guys, They have like spaceships that can only last here for a second, and then like at the speed of light, they're gone, dude. And meanwhile, we can barely make ships that like launch into space and stuff like that. They don't even go that fast yet. I mean, hell, Elon Musk, as smart as he is, I say that sarcastically, can barely make a ship that goes faster than probably what, 100 miles per hour? Meanwhile, these things are going at the speed of light? Please, dude. The only thing that Elon Musk is doing right now is making electric cars that like will inevitably crash whenever we're flooding.
and taking our flea market.
Dude, honestly, screw this guy.
He took our flea market, and I got pretty upset about that.
Dude, dude, I don't like Elon Musk worth a damn.
That's interesting. Yeah, this also brings me to like a second topic. You know how I mentioned like Star Wars and all that, like those type of aliens. They
Yeah.
also used a very very high like intelligent structure of robots. They have, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Star Wars, but I'm gonna get super nerdy. But they have protocol droids and they got like freaking astro droids or whatever. Um, and they also got the freaking like Roger ones. Now I'm bringing this up because there's a certain moment where they're a little bit more sentient. If you guys don't are not familiar with sentient, sentient means that they're a little bit more human. They have emotions. They inflict and I guess address pain. Um, R2, like if you punch R2 in like a Lego game or whatever, he screams like crazy. Or like you watch the show and C3PO gets scared because Lord Vader is next to him. Like it's a little bit interesting how they programmed them, and they actually went along and say that those droids were programmed the same the way that they are. But it's interesting because it's kind of dumb. I don't know. Have you guys watched the Clone Wars, like the series, the cartoon series?
I haven't seen it. I have seen clips of it. I think the clips that I saw were pretty awesome. I just haven't given it time yet.
Uh huh.
And but I wouldn't say that I'd be too familiar, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there's funny
Like,
clips where the robot, the Roger ones, I forgot what their name, the B1 droids or whatever. Like they
mhm.
talk about like something and they're like, oh whatever, whatever, and then they get hit and they're like, oh my gosh, whatever, and they get like scared. and it's just a little bit interesting because you could. These are robots. These guys were programmed to kill, but ironically, they
Well,
also have programmed to be emotional and be a comedic relief. So I don't know. Maybe that's
Yeah,
the
but
yeah,
point.
that's a. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Maybe that's the point for the child. Maybe like for watching it. Maybe it shouldn't be deep, like dig that deep. But I don't know. I just find it interesting. Maybe like that's how it will be in the future. I know like there's a lot of people that are like smart, and there's also a lot of people that are, you know, interested in like engineering. So maybe our world could have a little bit of robots. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
well, I think we're already in the process of doing that. Like because I think that would just be a form of artificial intelligence. What if they like what if we do create that, and then these robots are start living with us, like with those emotions, right? Or understanding the process of emotion. Like I think that'd be pretty scary because like maybe it's not the aliens that take us, but they're the ones that are gonna take us. And because how smart can someone be, right? To be smarter than a computer, and like it's a very mixed bag there,
Hmm.
but like I don't know, man.
I get
No,
you.
what about you, Mike?
I'm going to go ahead and bring up a point. I do agree with Jesus here. This is among the lines of what you talked about right now. What you're talking about isn't aliens. Now it's just like robots that have artificial intelligence. And yes, it does matter who programs them because it all falls down to that that ultimate objective. Like, let's say the ultimate objective is to go ahead and kill somebody. Like, they're still going to follow that objective, but perhaps if they go along the lines like if we remember back in the Avengers, do we not remember Ultron, where he
Hmm.
ended up waking up one day and saying, you know what, I don't like what I see, and I think that the human race should be exterminated, right?
Hmm.
But then you have Jarvis, who was just like, no, humans need room to go ahead and further develop themselves. Yes, maybe the ultimatum is that they will be their own downfall, which probably we will someday. But like we have to like figure that out for ourselves, and I think not only robots with artificial intelligence would figure that out, but also like aliens as well. Why do you think nothing that bad has happened yet? Because I think inevitably, I'm sorry, that robots with artificial intelligence and aliens alike are probably looking at us like a freaking movie right now and saying, yeah, like let's let these guys go to town on each other. Like let's let them like have their fun and then we'll go ahead and reap what we can sow at the end of the day, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Do you think we're close to something like this? I mean, we have metadata being like pushed out hardcore, and we got. I don't know if you guys saw my reels. I put it up on Instagram and Facebook. It's about this like G10 dude, whatever. Like it's like this robot droid that's like
The
one of the
dog?
ones. The one of the ones that you could like push over and it will like stabilize itself. You guys have? Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I
I
did.
haven't
Was it the
yet.
one with the dog?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it started like begging, whatever. That's kind of
Yeah.
what fruit this question because I mean I like when I saw it I was like okay that's interesting and it's kind of creepy looking but it's like whatever but I know for a fact if you strap up an AK for like on that dog whatever a gun and send it to war that will be like exponentially more viable than cutting the corner and risking your own life you get me.
No, of course, but then at the end of the day, these beings that we have created will someday like take over us or perhaps let us go to town on each other. Instead of like killing each other as robots, perhaps one day they will try to go ahead and try to live with us, or at the end of the day, they'll try to kill us too.
Hmm.
Like our creation will be our own downfall.
And that's what I mentioned a little bit earlier. Like the moment we do create something like that, like I think what's gonna happen is that, like how I mentioned, who can outsmart a computer? You could be the smartest man in the world, and but how smart do you have to be to compete against a calculator?
Hmm.
Like, I barely know my multiplications. How do I calculate?
I get
No,
you.
no, and I completely agree, and that's why I say tread very lightly with everything, even perhaps an inanimate object. I mean, sure, you can throw it, but at the end of the day, show it some respect. Like, for an example, something as simple as your remote control, like, show it some respect because it's getting a job done for you instead of you having to walk all the way up to the TV and then changing it, right?
Hmm.
And then not only that, but respect your TV too, dude, because at the end of the day, it's providing entertainment for you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And we
that's
may,
actually interesting. Oh, you go on, go on.
like you may never know, perhaps robots in the future can communicate with inanimate objects, and these inanimate objects can go ahead and have memories of their own, like let's say for an example one with a camera, and it'll just like show you either like hitting it out of frustration or perhaps showing it like, hey, I'm enjoying this thing here, and I'm enjoying my time with this machine, you know.
Oh, I get you.
Hmm.
That's an interesting
Yeah.
thought because you could also um like, do you guys individually think something that's animatronic almost? Like I have an Alexa. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's kind of like an Echo Dot. You could just say whatever you want and it'll understand what you're saying. I do say my please and thank yous though, and I don't know if it's force of habit or I'm just genuine, just like a person that wants to say that. But I always say like, "Oh Alexa, turn on the light," whatever, and then once it does it, I just say, "Oh, thank you," whatever. You guys get me?
Yeah, of course, and
Yeah.
that's why I say like treat everything like a human being, dude, because like you never know, like one day perhaps robots will take over the earth or perhaps aliens will, and maybe one day it'll remember like, okay, you know what? You were thankful to me or like you welcomed me or whatever. And now you know what? I'm gonna let you live, or you know what? I'm gonna treat you with even more respect now. Come here, king, and then like
Ew.
brings you everything that you've ever wanted.
I get you.
Uh, when you said that, I don't know why it reminded me of I don't know if y'all saw that episode of Family Guy where Peter's like, I'm gonna go to like a black neighborhood and say the N word, and then he comes back and is like, they respected me. I
Yeah,
don't know.
like exactly, something like that. Like, just have enough like guts to go ahead and treat somebody like along the lines as you would anybody else, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Or perhaps
like,
have the
but
guts to go ahead and do something that like nobody else would do. And I don't think any like there's only a small percentage of the population that would be thankful to a freaking machine, right? Like, God bless.
Yeah, I guess so.
dude, like, what if we're like one thing that like I don't know if y'all played the Dead Space series, right?
I saw a little
Um,
bit. Yeah,
and so what if we already had that before, but it backfired, and then we're just doing the same mistake again?
that's a very well known theory or topic that people talk about. Like, I genuinely believe that there's no aliens, but I also believe that we have UFOs or like those flying saucers, those things. I know UFO means undiscovered flying objects, right? But the actual object, I do believe that we obtain those, and I do believe that there's a certain group of us that try to understand and reverse engineer this certain item, and I'm pretty sure people practice it. They jump in there and they try to like understand things. You guys get me?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I
I
feel
don't
like,
know. It's a scary thought.
go on.
It's just no. It's a scary thought.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Our futures like
because
already
like
marked.
Yeah, like it's predetermined, and so like in the Death Space series, like what they mention is that like oh like we've already found this object before, we've
Hmm.
already worked on this object before. We just didn't know what it did because we don't know what happened to the civilization who worked on it before.
Hmm.
Like in the game, they're finding ships where like but then it turns out to be like an alienistic object which they wanted to use for energy consumption and things of that nature. And then it turns out the marker that they have in the game, like it just went on ahead and started, like genetically modifying everyone who's very near it. And so like imagine And even though it's just an alien object, who created that object for it to kind of destroy a whole civilization like that? And so, like a virus in a way,
Hmm.
like I don't know, everything that has to do with like artificial intelligence or like discovery of aliens, like at the end of the day, like I still think like maybe we already experienced it, but we're still and it just didn't go well, and we're doing it again. Like also another example would be I don't know if y'all seen Prometheus,
Yeah, I saw it.
and like they were trying to look out for the creators, and then the creators turned out to be them, like just a more advanced civilization, and so and then even their own creators, quote unquote, and wanted to go ahead and destroy the human race. Of how bad can they become? So they wanted to destroy themselves. Like it's a weird topic
That's
when it comes
interesting.
to that movie.
It's interesting because
I
go on.
no, I was going to say I do kind of agree with most of the theories that you all are spitting out here right now.
Yeah,
It could be a possibility.
yeah. I mean, that's the issue though. There's no like direct directory that we're headed. It's all just like patterns and assumptions and theories that we have to base our foundation on, and that doesn't really support. You guys get me? But you could think about like the realistic stuff, like how you said that we had already those objects, and we're just preventing ourselves from the future. You could think about that when you look at the hieroglyphics on Egypt, those pyramids. There's some things that you just don't really understand. And what's the most universal way to communicate with other people is one, visuals, not necessarily words, because I mean no one really knows how long the freaking language could go far, but visuals, and also indented pictures. I mean, those who can't see and those who are not give like gotten the privilege for sight, they could feel. You get me?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting,
Yeah,
bro. So this I'm also gonna bring up the next topic, which is maybe the aliens are already living with us, specifically lizard people. Do you guys believe in that?
I do.
Really?
As do I.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you,
I do.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I think of where like either they're already living with us, it's because like I think about like, dude, what if that like whoever's the smartest person in this planet that turns out to be a loser in their planet, but over here they're very advanced,
oh,
right?
that's interesting.
But
So
like
what? Elon Musk? Elon Musk, man? Come on.
yeah,
It sounds like a very awesome underdog story though, like a
I
movie.
mean, sure, it's an awesome underdog story, but it would suck if Elon Musk was the guy.
Dude, imagine, bro, like Elon Musk just reveals himself one day. He's like, hey, I was a loser in my planet, right? But I showed him who's boss in this planet.
I think their pride would be so high that they won't admit being a loser. Because that's the whole
You
reason
know
why they're
what?
trying to, achieve something different, right?
No, I think they would go ahead and admit that they were the loser on their own planet, but then like they would just come out and say, you know what? But I'm better than you all, so screw you all. I could dominate you all right now.
What if the other civilization of the other planet goes like, oh, little Elon is over there. We should just tell them and show them all the advances that we did, and then make the humans join our side. And then they come and they have like cures for cancer and cures for diseases that we haven't even seen yet, and then like sources of entertainment that we've just never understood. And I don't know, they freaking drop gallons of LSD on their Xbox, and it changes everything. Like we wouldn't know all that, you know. So would we side for another alien to rule us, or you think we have the much bigger pride and we wouldn't accept it?
I think we wouldn't accept it because just because we're like at the humans in general like tend to be pretty stubborn about that type of thing, and like we don't want to be ruled by someone don't know, right?
Right.
Like how Michael mentioned, like Omni Man, spoiler warning, right? But you know, when he tried to go ahead and control, like, you know, the whole planet, he even states like, oh, like, you know, we have better, you know, medical supplies, we can cure diseases and things of that nature. But then, like, well, even his own son was like, well, I don't think that's our choice, right? And like that's our choice to do. Like it would be their choice, and even then, I don't agree with it because he was doing it with like a forced hand,
Mm.
and so
No, but no, but you see, that's where I'm going to go ahead and like stop you right there. I think the reason why Omni Man like decided to go ahead and say that to Mark, but the reason why Mark rejected it first is because Omni Man, like I will agree with you there, the forced hand. I think if Omni Man were to go ahead and be a little bit more, shall we say, a little bit more liberal or perhaps a little bit more lenient with his hand, I believe that the human race in in awe would go ahead and accept the fact that not only is Omni Man the most powerful like among the earth, but also like they would accept the medical supplies and stuff like that and decide to go ahead and unleash themselves onto this new race. But the reason why Omni Man decided to go ahead and wreck up everything like destroying an entire city and stuff like that is because he wanted to prove a point like you all can't stop me, and guess what, only the strong shall live. That's why their race, like Omni-Man's people, like I forgot what they were called again. Do you remember what they were called?
Viltrumites.
There you go. The reason why the Viltrumite Empire like is the way it is today is because they only let the strong survive and the weak perish. Like they went full out like on war on each other just to go ahead and see like who are the top dogs here, and then we will further develop the race through the strong. And now they are slowly like dying off because whatchamacallit, they are so they basically killed almost everybody, and that's pretty much it. But when it comes to like accepting the fact that Earth would have to join them, I think the reason why Mark was so hesitant on that was not only because like Omni Man just straight up killed everybody, like all his friends and stuff like that, right? Like the entire team that he was working with. I forget their names, Immortal and all
Uh,
them.
I forgot. Like it was the. I think it was the. I don't know. Like I forgot the name too. And it's funny too because it had such a simple name. Something world. So world. I don't know. And
You know, you guys are kind of bringing up an idea that I was just thinking of while Michael was talking, but kind of
Go ahead.
tying in with both of you. Wouldn't it be us consenting that someone could be playing as God? I mean, he's the one saying who's better, and he's the one saying who deserves the medication.
uh,
And there's a source of there's an episode, no, a movie called I Am Legion, or I Am Legend, or whatever. Well, Will Smith says, scan me, or no, scan my daughter, whatever, and it didn't work. You just scan her again. He's like, there's only a certain amount of scanning, and then just take my scanner. Is the guy that has a scanner consenting to the idea of, okay, let him play God? Maybe the machine was wrong. You guys get me?
mhm. Yeah,
Which
I get.
I feel like it's just interesting. No, it's just I highly, because you Jesus, you said that the world wouldn't do it because of pride, and I highly believe that. I genuinely don't think that humans would just give up everything just to survive. I don't think so. I mean, we're slowly killing ourselves and figuring out how to do it faster every day. And
Yeah.
Michael's point of view says that out of pity, maybe people would actually consent. But then the whole idea of like, okay, who are we giving our life to? You get me? And would we really be living, or every day would be a proven battle to support who's the strongest one? I mean, would the most strongest would be only three people? It's interesting
Yeah,
idea.
and then like to the people who like how you mentioned, I like how you mentioned that some people are gonna see that figure as a god,
Hmm.
and I think that's a scary thought because the moment someone believes in someone like that, it gets dangerous, right? And like for example, do you guys watch The Boys?
No,
Yes.
No, no.
the
Okay,
Amazon one,
so
right?
yeah, like for you, Eric, like there's this like another like Superman like, but he's a villain, right? Like people see him as this type of god and will believe any word that he says. But everything starts to unfold when people start seeing all of the actions he's doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
he starts killing people at other countries and stuff. And not even then, there's still a lot of stuff he does within the show, which is very hard to either sympathize because he was created, and so he has his own issues, right? But some people see him as this type of god, and they're just gonna go ahead and go with whatever he says, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what. And so it meant, and like there's some people that actually do believe in that today with other folks, like if it's its own religion, and then they actually tend to like either commit murders for these people because they want to do it for their God. And
Mm-hmm.
so, what exactly is God? If there's people that believe in that, like I'm also a religious person. I believe there is someone that is looking down on us and help like in the process of creating us.
Right.
But like it comes to like the physical beings that we don't know their intentions, and not even then, like what if like those intentions, or like how you mentioned, they offer us supplies, they offer us all that, and we, let's just say we do accept it, right? But everything has a price, like so what no, the only thing is we need to find out what that price is.
Mm-hmm. Like previously in the back, past then. Sorry, Jesus, can you get closer to your mic real quick?
What do you mean?
No, Jesus, can you hear
For
me?
me,
Can you
yeah,
get
I can
close?
hear you.
Can you get closer to your mic?
Oh, okay, okay, sorry, I
Okay.
have my headphones.
Test something. Like say something real quick.
Can you hear me better?
There you go. That's perfect. Anyway, I was gonna say, kind of adding on to that, you mentioned like what is God, and I feel like God, not just him, but let's bring it up in the whole general topic. Let's say spiritual level. Let's say all the ghosts, all the paranormal stuff, all that stuff is the most. I think we could all agree that's the most alien to us, right? Because
I
the
don't
truth,
think it's
Yeah,
alien since, like, this is where I'm going to go ahead and, like, try to oppose that view. I
sure.
don't think it's alien anymore due to the fact that we've already fully researched it because we have it in the Bible, right? Like, we
Hmm.
figured out what this being can do or what our God can do.
Well, no, not
And
necessarily. The Bible is not a what is this? It's more of a guide progression. So it tells you step by step. The whole Bible kind of gives you as much as examples as it possibly could, but also it doesn't say, oh, by the way, that scratching noise that you hear in your attic, that's a demon. It doesn't say that. Like, it's
no,
very.
of course, but so you agree with some of the, like, I hate to say this and I hate to bring this up in this case, but you agree with some of the atheists, right, where they say that perhaps the Bible could be a book of metaphors. Do you like agree with that
Oh,
standpoint?
no. I'm Christian. I'm religious. I
No,
genuinely.
as am I. But like I once discussed it with an atheist once. Like I asked him, "What do you think of the Bible?" And he says, "I believe it's like a book of metaphors, but not like in the sense like everything is like fake. But what I'm trying to say here is that like let's say for an example splitting the sea, like when he split the sea, I don't think he necessarily did that. I think it was along the lines that he split like two big like wars or something like that, like or something like that, along the lines of that.
I
I would
get
have to
that.
ask him again.
I get that idea or perspective, but that would be one of the perspectives that wants to be considered, wouldn't it?
Of course, but also, do we not remember David and Goliath? Perhaps this is like a metaphor, like small guy versus the giant. Okay, so then maybe this is like a big giant war where a huge army went against like just a small platoon of men, and those small platoon of men ended up defying the odds with the help of God, and with that help of God, they won the war. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
So
I get the idea of that perspective, and I also I believe that it's a how to though, um, more than more than a metaphoristic. Even though they do use sources of metaphors, but Michael, can you say something?
Yeah, I heard him cut off. Also, like I can't hear him. He was about to say something, and then it
Oh,
just got cut off.
was I talking over him?
Oh, no, no, no. Like, it just like like I believe he was trying to say something, and then like for some reason, either I think his connection probably just got disconnected.
Yeah. Um,
God would forgive you.
can you say something again, Michael?
All right. Can you
Oh,
hear me
there you
now?
go. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So where did I leave off of my point?
Um,
You were barely about to make your point. Like,
yeah. You finished talking about the
Okay.
atheist stuff.
Okay, so the atheist stuff. Okay, so let me go ahead and get to the point here. So what I'm trying to say is that God, I believe, would like show mercy upon us all, and He's going to. But for the meantime, we have to try our best to be the good person in whatever scenario that we are in, and try our best to be as forgiving as we can. Though we are humans, and He understands that. And going back to the alien thing, I believe that God isn't an alien, but He also created the aliens as well. This is what I also believe. Like, I believe God created the aliens in His own likeness as He did us. And He's trying to go ahead and figure out, okay, like, will you guys work together for the ultimate greater good against evil? Like, I think that's what it all falls down to. And I believe that demons are aliens in the sense that they are otherworldly. Like, this is something that we don't know and that we're still figuring out today, like the most powerful demon in hell and stuff like that. That's alien to us. God, we already know. The saints, we already know. It's just that probably there are new ones every day, and it's a battle between evil and good. And it falls along the lines of that as well.
Do you think we're stuck in the middle of that battle, or do you think that we're a part of the battle and we just don't know?
We are part of the battle that we don't even know. It happens every day, and it even happens uh, inside of you, Eric. It happens inside of you, Jesus, and it happens inside of the viewer. It all depends on where you lie, and I believe that perhaps drugs are a little bit of an opening to that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not gonna say do drugs or something like that, but have you noticed that whenever a person is on drugs, like their mind is saying like I can see this that nobody else can see, you know, like perhaps they're seeing what we can't see beyond that dimension that we are trying to reach in a sober state. But the only way that we can reach it is through the drugs that are either man-made or can be found out there in the wild, if you get my drift here.
Yeah, I get you.
yeah,
But again, I am going to go ahead and tell the viewer that I do not condone the use of drugs. Please do not use drugs because
Right.
you probably don't even know your own limits. Please do not use them unless you are fully capable of controlling your own limit. Thank you very much.
I get you. Jesus, you got an idea? Because I could throw into another topic there, but I don't want to leave this until you say something.
like well, like Michael is right that like I also do believe that we're probably in a battle we just don't know about, and like and some people are able to experience things like for example Emily Rose. I don't know if y'all heard about that, and that Emily Rose was a perfectly fine person. Then all of a sudden she started seeing stuff she wasn't supposed to, and that stuff affected her mentality, and then there was a whole court case about it, and they don't know if she was either doing hallucinogens. They don't know any of that because when they did the autopsy they couldn't find anything,
Is
and they
this the
just blamed it
person?
on the priest.
Is this the person that passed away on top of a hotel room?
uh
Like,
no, Emily Rose was I believe I'm not sure. I think it was German in a way. Like
Oh
the
yeah, she was the
exorcist.
one that was possessed by multiple demons, right? And they tried to exorcise her, and then she ultimately starved to death because she couldn't eat.
Yeah, like that's imagine that. Like if you can just go ahead and just if you can just go ahead and start seeing things out of nowhere, then there's a high chance something is like present within us. We just don't know it, and there's a lot of like things like that are like it's very hard to explain because it's something like, for example, Eric, you mentioned a little bit earlier that you said that like we already experience those type of phenomenons, but we see them as alien when it's just very rare for us to see it because not many people see it, but when they do, of course, it causes a little panic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like I think it's just a dependence. Like some people, I have heard, it's funny too. I'm not gonna mention names, but when I used to go to school, they would mention to me like I believe they would do acid, and they would say like, "Oh, I start seeing demons and stuff." And I'm thinking like, is that like how you mentioned? Is it something that is already there that we're just not seeing without that little extra help? Of course, please don't do drugs.
Yeah, I get you.
Unless you're with me.
You know that's
Yeah, pass that shit over, son.
that's interesting because I'm a huge like Beatles fan, like the Beatles, the band group, four guys, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went into a hardcore acid trip in their career, and their music changed because of it. And you could hear a song called "Lucy in the Sky of Diamonds." If you
LSD.
abbreviate it, that's called LSD, right? Um,
Yeah.
what's it called? One of them says that it was like completely coincidental, but regardless of that, you could hear the lyrics and you can hear other songs of theirs, and you could see like, wow, they really are like tripping balls. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, like
it's
Yellow Submarine. Come on.
yeah, and there's different topics about certain things and that they bring up, and in a weird way, you if you are a creative person, wouldn't you be tapping into more of your potential using enhancements like that? I know they do it
No,
in the
of course, but
Olympics, and I know.
this is where I'm going to argue a point with you. Like half the population could go ahead and become something like the Beatles, or perhaps even you can, Eric, or perhaps somebody along the lines could become a smarter person for doing, like, let's say, for an example, LSD, cocaine, weed, what have you, right? Or become a calmer person or a better person. But realize that half the population can also become something evil, like a junkie. And I hate to go ahead and say it like that. Like there is a certain percentage of the population that will become ultimately useless junkies, and in this sense, the demons will prevail rather than the angel inside of them, or perhaps the angels that is helping them. And it is to my belief that those that create good music or create good movies and stuff like that, something entertaining, this is along the lines that, hey, this is what's going to happen or what can happen, or I'm just here to go ahead and entertain you with this. This is along the lines, this is where good prevails, right?
Mhm.
But then there's bad where junkies are made and they let the worst get the the better of them, you know?
Yeah, I got you.
And that's where this comes into play. Like only the strongest will survive, and that's where it all comes down to the strongest in mind.
Hmm.
If you get my drift here.
I get you.
Yeah, I agree. Because like when it comes to doing drugs always tend to be a very slippery slope, and a good example of it, like how like how Michael said, so I called you an angel, Michael.
Thank
and
you.
and so um when it comes to that slippery slope, how creative can you get until you start becoming a junkie? A good example here would be Robert Downey Jr., right? Like he was a junkie. He couldn't even perform anymore because he has to do the amount of drugs he used to do. And so but then later on, luckily he was saved, and he was able to clean up his act and to try to become that better person.
Mhm.
And everyone has their own demons, and of course drugs are not going to solve anything,
Right.
and drugs will create some sort of I think the drug that I've seen that is gonna be a little bit more harmless and tends to go ahead and expand on the creativity has to be weed. Like almost every musician out there, one of the best musicians out there, more sure, like they do weed or they do shrooms, and like, but they never really mention about how much they're gonna be doing those hardcore drugs, like for example, I don't know if y'all heard about the drug crocodile, scariest shit ever. Like it's a that like it's basically I don't know, like or whatever you inject is like it's almost a guarantee that you're gonna be losing that limb wherever you inject it. Like
Oh, what the hell?
that's scary. Yeah, like it's scary because like there's a high chance of amputation. The amputation rate for that drug, from what I read, I believe that was 2 years ago, and like it's pretty scary. And so like they never really mention the hardcore drugs. They just usually mention the standard, like oh, like I do weed,
Yeah,
not
that's cool.
weed and shrooms. That's it. They like because like I mentioned, it's a slippery slope to how it's going to enhance your creativity, and also like how Michael said, but there's a high possibility you could become dependent on it, and that drug is going to take over you.
See,
Hmm.
exactly. And that's why I think that perhaps, and going back to the point, perhaps aliens or perhaps the good force and or the bad forces are creating these drugs as well as the government to go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and further develop like the human race to see, okay, who's worth like killing off and who's worth keeping on here. And why do you think the junkies ultimately end up like killing themselves in the end or perhaps making something much more less of themselves? Like they're just here as an example of what not to do, you know? And for those that prevail among being a junkie, like for an example, Robert Downey Jr., or perhaps somebody like in your all's family, we all have that story where one of our family members is a junkie, but then they ultimately like go to rehab and stuff like that because they end up figuring out, you know what, this is more of an addiction than it is a mind opener. It was a mind opener at one time, but I saw bad stuff, or I saw stuff that I want to see again, but I can't do it anymore. You know, like because if not, then it'll become dependent, and this is like otherworldly, and I can't be in that world. I have to focus on this world, and I must maintain and do good here rather than do bad among others by trying to support this sort of addiction.
Oh, I get you. And, I don't really think that the artist that uses the drug creates more. I just feel like it gives the artist another perspective. Like it's kind of like giving an artist a new paintbrush. It's a new different color, and you don't know it, but you have a new paintbrush and a set of new different colors just to play with. And I feel like you like them as an artist and as a creative person, they want to translate as much as what they see. So when they bring it back to our world, as Michael was saying, they try to kind of tie the bridge, say like, hey, if you hear this song, you're gonna feel a little bit more like that without doing drugs. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And maybe that ties in with the whole idea. But like how Michael was saying about different worlds, I kind of want to ask, and this is not a part of the list that I sent you guys, but a certain topic. Do you guys believe in universes or like alternate universes? Do you guys believe in parallel universes in certain aspects like that? And do you believe in dimensions?
I do believe in that. Like, I don't know, maybe in the other universe I have a six pack and everything. Like,
yeah, that'd be nice.
Your
Like
your credit score
I would
goes
like
up.
to meet a taller me. Oh yeah,
So
like a tall Michael and he like, or a billionaire Eric by the age of 21, or I don't know. Like, I do believe in it because, like, I mean, if there's like I'm not a bad person, but let's just say if in another universe I'm like the worst, right?
mhm.
And that's like I always thought about that. I'm like, well, I've always wondered like if I ever meet like other universes of or versions of myself, like how would they be? Like, would I be more athletic? Would I be more fat? Would I be dead? Like I do believe in that, and I always find it to be like interesting, like of how different things could be that that is not done here. Like imagine
Yeah.
in another universe, Elon Musk is the junkie.
Mm-hmm. It's such an interesting thought because they always say, oh, before you do a decision, before you say something, before you make a hand movement, the other version of you doesn't do that, right? Or whatever the hell. And I thought about it, and I genuinely don't believe in the parallel universes and all that stuff because I mean, I'm really religious, but I do fruit the thought of it, and I do think about like while I'm driving in the highway, and I just go like, man, like, isn't it interesting if I could just like, or not if I do it, but I could just turn to the left really fast and change my entire life. Like, regardless if it's oh, I get in an accident or not, I have to now worry about a tire, or I get pulled over and I go to jail, or like the rabbit hole that you could fall into is like just a corner of a way. You get me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
do
the
get
endless
you. Like,
possibilities.
yeah, of course. Like, there is endless possibilities to everything, but at the same time, like, you decide not to do it. So at the end of the day, you're the better person for it. And the other worldly or the other, shall we say, the other dimension side of you is the worst person for doing it. You know.
Right.
So I think at the end of the day, like if you're good here, then I think ultimately you will prevail, and I think that's the whole point. Do I believe in like I think I'm going to have to agree with you, Eric, on this. I don't believe in it because I am a religious person, but at the same time, like like you said, I do fruit the idea, and there could be a possibility, but at the same time, I would rather not let that other universal me get the better. You
Hmm.
know. So I'd rather be the better person in that situation.
Have you guys seen Rick and Morty?
I
Yeah,
have.
Have you seen the part where it's like a convention and you could just randomly step into this like VR world and it psychologically changes you and you end up living a different life and I think they made a joke about being an NFL player and they break your legs and boom you lost your career or whatever, but they obviously did it like in like seconds of the freaking thing, but what if we're all in that world and we're all in like hooked up to some wire and we are all supposed to just find the better like outcome. We're the ones that like Michael said, we're the ones that didn't do the wrong thing that someone else did. So after all, like after as soon as you pass away, right? We pass away as a human. We actually just get closer to just removing the mask and then the one and you just have like a bunch of scientists in front of you like congratulating you because you're one of the ones that like didn't kill yourself or didn't like not necessarily kill yourself but like mess up in certain aspects than others. You get me? Like we're the best version.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then I would just go ahead and like tell them, hey, look, if you really did create this game or whatever it's called, then can I just go ahead and like press replay on this? Give me the guarantee that I will get everybody and everything again the same. I just want to be just a little bit better or have them much longer. You know.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like for an example, your grandma or your grandpa or maybe your uncle or your mom or your dad. It doesn't really matter. Like, do it again. Give it to
Yeah,
me all one more time.
yeah, I get you. It's a very like a Keanu Reeves moment right there. What's it called? Matrix.
Matrix.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Blue pill,
interesting.
red pill.
What if you take them both?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
screw it. I would.
imagine, bro,
Huh?
in the bloopers, in the
I would.
bloopers, he gets both of them. He just like chugs that shit down. Like he's like, I take both.
I can see everything now. Yeah.
why can I see half and half now? I want to go back and forward.
That would be interesting. Like the camera has to change between like the both eyes. It's kind of like a filter. He has his on and off switch, and he sees like other people that are not there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of going off topic, but yeah, it's I don't know. I just find it interesting. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we were talking about lizard people. Do you think that they're like at power? Do you think they are like in the world? How pathetic will it be if they were lizard people and they can't even get like a career started? Like that would be really funny though. Like let's say there's because we always depict the president's the lizard or whatever. Like anyone that has at least $1 million is a lizard. But what if it's just like the homeless guy next door?
I
Yeah.
mean, it could be a possibility. I
Maybe.
mean, what if like they like are telling the truth and we think they're drugged out, but in reality they are lizard people?
Right. You know, I actually watched just yesterday, and it was just random because I never watched the movie. But did you guys watch the Truman Show?
No. I haven't even heard of it. If I'm being honest. What's it about?
Um, Basically, it's starring Jim Carrey. He plays as a guy named Truman, and Truman is a person that is born from beginning to end. But all around him is completely fake. Everything's an actor. Everything's fake. All the stands shipped in, like all the water, the whole storyline, the weather, the sky, the light, the moon, everything's like a prop from Hollywood, and they are progressively pretending to be this reality for everyone else that is not in there to enjoy. It's an actual show that they could watch. Like, let's say if people that are at the bar, they could look at the TV and just watch the guy actually get born throughout his whole life, become who he is, and they put obstacles in his way sometimes, and sometimes they don't. And then there's a certain moment where he realized this isn't real anymore. And I highly recommend you guys watch the movie. It's called The Truman Show. Not sponsored at all. It's super old, but I definitely find it kind of ironic because I was bringing up these ideas, but then they just hit me in the head. Like, wow, like this show was basically on the nose about this whole conversation. Like, what if everything is just a prop? What if everything is just there just for entertainment of some other person? What if aliens are the ones laughing at us? You know, I don't know.
Could be a
Wow.
possibility, but again, like I will say this, I am religious, so it's just like I believe that everything is real.
Hmm.
I'm not
That,
gonna go
that,
along the lines like I am in the Matrix.
You know, I spoke
bro,
to someone, or go ahead, Jesus.
oh, I was just gonna say, like, I'd be very excited if that's the case because then imagine, like, you find out in all of your achievements, everything that you've ever done, and within your life turned out that it was all fabricated.
Hmm.
And they saw me born. I didn't really like they were actually planning everything all the step of the way. So like nothing that you ever did was like was real. And I
Yeah,
don't know. It just would have been a sad thought.
yeah, and there's certain parts where normally, what's it called, Jim Carrey or the Truman, his name, he would advance a little bit faster than they expect. So the entire set will be like, because there's certain parts where like I'm not gonna spoil everything. I highly recommend you watching it, but there's certain parts where like a radio frequency will kind of alter in to their comms. And they'll say, "Okay, he's driving towards the left of this street," and actually, and he looks at the street and he's like, "What the hell? I'm taking a left on this street," and then you can hear them start panicking and be like, everyone on cue, everyone set, get the coffee ready, like that specific, like it's insane. And then as soon as he cuts the corner, everyone is almost like a press play button. Everyone's scheduled, everyone's set up, everyone's ready to go, for this perspective of him having an actual life, which is interesting. So like how you said, anything you earned wasn't earned. uh there was a moment where his best friend, which is obviously an actor, everyone's an actor, but his best friend says, "Thank you for helping me cheat on a test." Imagine going through an exam for a fabricated idea. You get me?
Yeah, like I would have. I don't know. I would have gone to the. I don't know. I think that actually causes insanity though.
Yeah. Psychologically, you would be distraught because you wouldn't be able to talk to anybody.
Like you don't know who to trust by then. I'm actually gonna watch that movie. I'm actually
Yeah,
looking for it right now.
it's on
Now you got me
HBO.
tripping out, man. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, no, there's also certain intruders to the show. There's people that like, okay, outside of the world, they see this as a negative, right? Obviously. But then there's certain people that advocate, hey, we should free him, we should inform him So there would be people dressed up as like during like the Christmas era, or the Christmas episode. That's how horrible it is. Like they call it an episode for whatever, right? Like the first steps, second episode, or whatever the hell. But anyway, um, there's people that would dress up as gift presents, like a box, and then they will break out of it trying to inform, well, Truman what's going on. But obviously, they sound psychologically unhinged or completely like off. And so they're like, I don't know, like a dad or someone that's nearby would like prevent him from getting close. I don't know. I just find it very interesting. I watched it yesterday and I was like, kind of like, wow, like how convenient. But highly recommend it. It's a really good movie.
No, like I saw it's on Google. Like I added it to my list.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's just like a loop like that. Can you guys remind me the other topic? I think we have a last topic, or I don't know if we have two more. I don't. Do you guys see? I can't check right now since I'm recording.
Neither can I. The messages in my WhatsApp ended up deleting themselves somehow, or
Okay.
automatically deleting.
Jesus, were you able to?
No, I don't have it. I don't have it.
But yeah, so I remember saying lizard people, and we did talk about a little bit more on top, like I mean dimensions and all that stuff. Trying to remember now.
Shall we talk about what current events and what's going on in the world right now? Politics.
No, no, thank you. Okay, give me a second. Let me pause it real quick. So the last topic was actually the dark web. Let's try not to go too far into the dark web, but we could like cut the surface. You get me?
All right.
So realistically, you could. I don't know. Have you guys been to the dark web, or have you visited that site, or you guys are too timid to hear it?
Nah, I don't got the balls. I'm a big pussy for that.
No, dude, I don't want to be arrested. I want to actually have a future here.
Okay,
No,
so that's what I was
dude.
gonna say. There's a lot of stories that hover over it that support it so much. There's not one that says, "Oh, it's pretty cool. It's just come and shit." No, it's like everyone's very honest. Like, "Oh, dude, don't do that crap." Um, but it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting to just know that like you could like buy certain organs like for 40K, like a kidney for 40K. And I don't know if the market changed, but I did knew that was like a thing back when I was like 12. Like that was the
40K?
Wow, that's
what's
like
that?
give me two. Give me two, right?
I'm pretty sure the freaking market went up hardcore. I don't know, but it's just
Oh,
interesting,
inflation, you know.
huh?
Inflation, you know.
Yeah, inflation. The freaking what's it called?
Thanks a lot,
Amazon
Biden.
Prime.
The
Thanks a lot,
demand, bro. Like, I'm scared to visit the dark web. I read this before, but like it said something like I visited the dark web once and I was for sale. And then I all of a sudden I just see that I was sold and ready to be delivered.
It would be so funny if you went to the address like a freaking like complete idiot.
Dude, what if like your mom and dad are showing you on the dark web, and then you just like figure out, Mom, Dad, what the hell? And then they're just like, look, son, we need money for gas now, okay? Biden ain't being nice to us right now.
No, they're like, they stopped abortions, right? So just do that.
Like,
We don't want you, like, you eat all our food.
That brings up like human
everything
trafficking.
wrong.
That brings up like human trafficking. Are you guys scared of getting kidnapped?
Dude, yeah.
I don't.
I hyperventilate. Like, imagine, like, hopefully they return me after I start freaking out like in their van and shit. Like, yeah,
Dude,
like I'm not gonna stop talking. I'll be like, hey guys, like, can we please get a kids
Dude,
meal at
calm down,
McDonald's before
Jesus.
we go?
Calm down, dude. You're like 6'2",
see,
6'4",
Michael,
dude.
Michael, that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't care how old I am. I'm gonna forever be scared of getting kidnapped. Because the
Dude, but
idea.
like that's just the thing. See, like I'm gonna tell you the truth, Eric. You are somewhat intimidating because of your size, like you're brawny, right? Like
Oh
of your
shucks.
because you're white.
Oh
But
shucks.
you like, and same for you, Jesus. You're very intimidating because of your height and your build. Like your medium build, I remember that, but you're also like 6'3", 6'2", right?
I'm 5'9".
He's 7'8". Yeah.
Oh, stop! Come on.
Wait, but my attitude is 9'10", and my no,
No, but
no.
yeah,
What?
like
What?
you
Hey,
guys are
hey,
very
what
intimidating.
universe?
Like, but
What universe height are we talking about though?
bro,
Like at Planet 603, I think.
So he's 10'10".
dude. Now, the only reason why I would see you getting kidnapped, Eric, is because not only because of your online popularity and the sense of perhaps they can cough up some net worth money, but also because, like, I'm gonna say it, you're a good-looking guy.
Oh
Same for you,
shucks!
Jesus.
Look at him! Look at him go, throwing all his acids at me.
Bro.
Yo, Michael, this is a dating podcast now.
Oh, shucks, bro.
Who's getting a phone call? It's the
I'm
dark web.
sorry, it's me.
The dark web's calling.
Yeah, like they're like,
Bro, can you please go to FedEx real quick? Like, you get in a box and yeah, like they'll just take you where you need to go, and don't go inside the store. Go right next to the store, like on
Right.
the back of the store. Like,
They send you
they'll take
straight
care.
to Jamaica.
Dude, I would love to visit Jamaica. Like, so I mean, like, if you're gonna kidnap me, take me somewhere I want to go, like Cancun or something. I don't know.
Dude, wouldn't it be weird if you got kidnapped and then you woke up like at Mars?
I mean, isn't that what we just discussed right now? Aliens?
Oh, I guess. Yeah, I guess getting abducted is maybe that's different, right? Abducted and getting kidnapped. Wouldn't kidnap be
Yeah.
like for a ransom or a sole purpose?
Yeah, kidnapped would be, let's be honest here, kidnapped would be based on Earth here.
I
It would
believe.
never be otherworldly because, like, at that point, nobody can reach you otherworldly. It's not like they have antennas over there that can reach over here. And the only way that they would be able to is, like, if you use their own technology.
What would you guys? Okay, let's assume, right? If they always do this idea, but what if there is like a button that could like literally kill everyone in the whole world and giving off the button was just giving off it was explained to right to whoever they got it, but it was given off to someone randomly in the world. Do you think they'll press it?
Nah.
Imagine, bro, like they're just like, I'm tired of this, and they presses the button.
You know what would suck if he just like falls on the button though, like he puts it
He's
on the
like,
top
whoop.
shelf and it just falls over.
Bro, come on, guys. Let's go give that button to Vladimir Putin. Come on. He destroyed the entire world.
I think we
Like,
already have those buttons, right? Shouldn't nuclear be the
Yeah, exactly. The nuclear weapons.
the second we
I've
pull one off, everyone else is gonna start pulling one off, except for
yeah,
Green Man.
like we're all gonna die if that happens because, like, I mean, we're already so advanced. Like, our bombs are not the same, or they're not like they're gonna be almost like 1,000 times stronger than the one that we first dropped. When we first invented them. Like,
Yeah.
and then it was catastrophic then because then and it's funny too. Like, we did it pridefully too. Because we told Japan, like, oh, like, if you don't stop, we're gonna drop it at one of the locations that has all of your historical value, right? And so we did the first one, and then we said, you better stop, or we're gonna do it again. And then we did it a second time, and then we said to them a third time, like, we're gonna do it again, but we didn't have another bomb.
Yeah, they didn't call our bluff.
Yeah,
You
Like,
know, the thing that's interesting that you mentioned that. Go on. Sorry, I cut you off.
oh, I was just gonna say, like how catastrophic it was back then, because some of those people are still being experiencing the damaging effects that it has now,
Yeah,
like over there at Hiroshima, and so like same with Agent Orange, right?
right,
Like it's
right.
sad to,
I was gonna bring that up. Yeah,
yeah, like it's really sad that like no matter how many years pass by, that effect is still there. Like
hmm
kids are still being born like with these like deformities, like they're being form like they're being born and having that effect. Like some people are being born without bones, some people are being born with their hearts out of their chest. It's
yeah,
just very sad and damaging, right? So
yeah.
now imagine, like, because now it's not a nuclear bomb, it's a hydrogen bomb, and
Right.
that has like a which is 1,000 times bigger of an explosion. And not only that, it's like 1,000 times worse than the bombs we dropped before. Like now we're just the way how I see it, like now it's just like a big dick contest, right? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah, exactly.
yeah, like the U.S. wants to show it has like a bigger junk than Russia, and Russia wants like to create better bombs, right? To show like they want to show that like that Russian meat, you know,
You
and
know,
I
hang
get
on.
you.
I just want to interject here really quick. Have you all noticed the? I don't remember if this was a comedian that brought it up. I think it was Bill Hicks or somebody like that. Look up Bill Hicks, by the way. Great comedian. But he once said, like, have you noticed what rockets are shaped like? Do you notice what they look like, huh? Like they kind of look like a very familiar male organ, if you get my drift here. And have you noticed how we just try to build the most powerful one? Have you noticed that politicians are mostly people that they're very prone to anger in the sense that they don't get what they want and try to impress everybody? I think it's along the lines of because they can't control what's down there unless they like take care of that financially
Yeah, I get you.
with plastic surgery.
What's it called? That's interesting though. That you brought up Agent Orange because I actually spoke to someone that has gotten hit with it. Um, and it was my history teacher back at high school. I won't say specifically who, but I did speak to him, and I asked him like, "Well, what's your story? Or how did it happen?" And he was serving, um, I believe Vietnam, obviously, right? Well, he would be super old if he was the other wars, but he was serving Vietnam, and they only had like aluminum foil on them, and they were told like, okay, well, we're getting shot by people that we cannot see, because like I don't know if you guys ever seen Vietnam or seen movies like that. There's just very shrubby. There's a lot of trees. You can't really see who's there. So just imagine seeing like bullets fly at you and you don't even know who to shoot back at. So they just said, okay, just drop the bomb. We need to like at least get by. It's kind of like that scene from Forrest Gump where they're getting shot from the trees.
yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like that, and then they just dropped the bomb on them. Except it wasn't fire; it was just like, it was Agent Orange, and it was kind of like powder, right? And they were told when they send the bomb, you are to dig yourself a little bit like face down, and cover yourself with aluminum foil, and that was it. There was no, oh, just run away because you're obviously gonna get shot when you're doing that. Imagine just digging while getting shot at. You don't, it's just like super depressing, right? A war itself is really sad, but so he does that. He digged himself down, and he digged himself more than the recommended because he just didn't want to die. He put himself down there. He put the aluminum foil over like his entire body, and kind of like made himself kind of like a cocoon. That's basically what you're supposed to do. And then the freaking, you could hear the planes fly by, and the powder gets set. All the bullets end up stopping. They don't end up shooting anymore. Um, and then they waited a couple. I think they waited like probably an hour and 30 minutes, individually, just all sitting there, like laying there. And then eventually they were like, okay, it's time to get out. and it's safe or whatever, which is obviously not the case. I mean, they do it for the best interest of the progression of the mission. You get me? Um, so he ended up saying that the only thing that he was gratefully he was only injured with one thing, was his eyes. So from now on, or since then, he wasn't able to see as much. Um, but I do know that, yeah, you could change up your genetics. It could change up your children's future, like being born with organs, extra organs, or less organs, or out of their body, and or in different orientation. But it's just interesting to me. I don't know.
No, dude, I agree. Like I've always like I find it very interesting, but it's also very sad because of the long term effects, right? Like it's funny that the moment the U.S. actually used it, they actually banned it a couple years later. They're like, oh, okay, I see that. Like it's doing a little bit more damage than we expected,
Right.
but I think we should stop it because we don't want it to be used on us, right? Like the I think it was like a treaty between like all the other countries that Agent Orange wasn't going to be used anymore
Mm-hmm.
because of the long term effects it actually does. Imagine it wasn't banned though, like how bad it could have been, like if it wasn't banned, like if we were to still kept on using it because
Well,
Agent Orange. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Okay, this is kind of going back to your history class, but there is a group. Remember the battle of the Maztec, or the Macedonia. I don't know if it's Macedonia, but it's the Maze army. It's like super old school. Like they had bows and arrows. You know what I mean? And the other
Yeah.
group, they had, so what's it called? I don't know if they had like muskets or not, but regardless, it was that time. Around those times, and they, instead of they were thinking, okay, how do we shoot them? How do we like win? How do we like, we want to take over their land? And typical, right? But they were just like, why don't we just give them infections? Why don't we give them chicken pox? Why don't we just throw all the rats at their like oceans? And they just started doing that. And long term, now this side of the world has rats. Now this side of the world has chicken pox. Like we now get the bad end of that decision. Yeah, they won the war for that, and it was effortlessly because they all ended up getting really sick. And then one of the generals comes and says, "Hey, I'm walking through your what's it called, city or whatever. This whole idea next to your idea of what you call God, and I have the medicine for it." And it's kind of going back to what we were talking about, but like, I have the medicine for it. You should either join us or uh, what's it called, accept your defeat. Blah blah blah. But I don't know. It's just, I find it really interesting, and I feel like, yeah, like what you say, Jesus, I agree with you. Like, long term effect, you're just hurting the next person that gets to live. You get me?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a sad thought, that we like right now, like thankfully, like the politicians, especially, like they're already thinking about it a little bit more before they do it,
Hmm.
and now you need to go ahead and go through a process in order for you to do whatever it is that you plan to do, and because they like, or at least that's what I think they're doing. Like, I don't know what they're doing within their closed doors, but like, I do hope that like they do stick with that process because we haven't really had like a long term effect as of late, from what I recall. Like, like when it comes to bombs, they tend to be your standard bombs. They're not nuclear bombs. We haven't really had any chemical warfare anymore,
Hmm.
which I'm glad too, because I think the chemical warfare tends to be the worst one,
Right.
like of how bad it can affect everyone, like in the long term. Besides the nuclear bombs, and the nuclear bombs usually tend to be like the last reserve or something, because like how you said, like the moment one starts dropping them, all the countries are going to start dropping them.
Yeah.
I got a question for you both. Do you think that Russia is going to go ahead and probably in the next couple of months or so try to go ahead and launch a nuke at us, or do you think that they'll launch it at
Look,
it?
man. We're not gonna talk about politics. as much as you want to, Michael.
No,
We're
I'm just asking.
yeah, but we
I'm
can't give
just asking.
examples. We can't do that stuff.
Do you think that he will or
No,
will he
Michael,
not?
we can't. We can't talk about that. Not here, okay? That's a different.
All right.
That's a different topic. Uh, for a different podcast entirely. I'm trying to keep
All
my
right, fair enough.
reputation, okay, Michael?
Hey, come on. I mean, you're not being, you're not saying anything that can get you canceled here. You're
Nah,
just stating an opinion.
no, that's the problem. That's how it is nowadays. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. Um, but yeah, I feel like we kind of talked about everything. I mean, unfortunately, we weren't, and thankfully, we're not really well known about the dark web. But to know that it exists and to know that you could just literally buy, I maybe even chemical stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's someone that's because I know they're still working on Agent Orange and they're still working on other under like non-classified what's it called equipment that we're not aware of and that could do more than just Agent Orange. But uh, there's probably someone under there just being like, okay, I'll give you a sample for like 50K, and it's just like that's how it is. Like that's how people are. Like people seek for money, and there's a certain point where you got to stop, where you're like, okay, does like the action that you're creating and the long term that effect that you're gonna do decreases the value of the dollar bill. You get me?
Yeah.
I don't know if I hit the nail on the coffin there, but that's it. That's basically what we're kind of or what I'm trying to say.
Fair enough.
But anyway,
Yeah.
appreciate you, Jesus. Appreciate you, Michael. Do you guys want to say something real quick? I don't know if you guys want to promote something or you guys want to say something.
I do have something to promote. This episode is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. You know, like a free mobile game, like 10 out of 10. You get I don't know, 50 cents of I don't know
50
of your
cents.
mom's money.
You get a what's the other game called, the Dragon City.
Oh no! Raycon, we're also sponsored by Raycon. Been using my Raycon headphones the entire episode. You know, everything clear.
I edited it so
I
it
mean-
sounds really really bad.
I mean, if anything, guys, I want to go ahead and promote Mi Casa Furniture, your discount furniture store. Are you looking for a couch that you can afford on such a tight budget, thanks to what's going on
You guys are
in,
freaking penny
in the
pinchers, bro.
environment? Well, not a problem. You can go ahead and buy a couch, and let me go ahead and say a love seat. Let me be specific here, for only $150, or for the low price of $10 a day, and you can go ahead and make monthly payments. Don't worry, guys, we work with you.
Hey,
Mi
Michael,
Casa Furniture, your discount furniture store.
Michael, why don't you do VO? Like, why don't you do voiceovers?
Dude,
I
for
mean-
real, he sounds like a perfect ad man here. Like he has the voice, he has
I mean,
everything.
He did help me out on on another podcast that didn't really work out, and I kind of like just dropped it and I made a new one. This one's way better. But he did help out on another podcast. I mean, he did do voiceovers for an ad reel of mine.
I mean, if anything, do you want me to do the closing and the opening? Welcome to the Erick Mars podcast.
I don't know. I'm just saying, it's pretty cool. Like, you should kind of reach out to other people. I mean, not a lot of people have your voice. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a very awesome voice. Like when you were working
you're
at
making me cry.
bro, I'm like, bro, people have to believe every word you say. There's just no doubt about it.
All right.
What
Well,
do you guys
thanks for
think?
having me on, Eric, and good talking with you, Jesus.
No problem. What do you
Good talking to you guys.
think-
This was very fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you. What do you think God sounds like? Do you think he sounds a little bit like Michael?
No, dude, he sounds like Morgan Freeman or Sam Elliott.
All right. Well, I appreciate both of you. I'm glad to hang
Imagine
out
he's
with
an Italian guy.
Jesus, you're an old time friend. You're literally back at. I feel like I met you at elementary, but genuinely, I think I met you at high school, right? Middle
Yeah.
school around. I don't know, but yeah, you're old school. I really love you, bro. Also, you, Michael. Appreciate both of
Same.
you. Glad that you guys could join us, and yeah, I appreciate all of you. If you guys are open to another podcast episode, just let me know. I know scheduling will be tough. I've obviously today we were able to do it, but yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
down.
down. Okay.
All right.
Let me know when y'all do it again, okay?
All right.
All right.
Peace, guys.
Take care, brother.
Later, guys.